Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, and in this one we are going to take a look at the potential nominees for this year's Game of the Year award and possibly the winner as well. Now, a bit of a disclaimer, what I say is not definite. It is not 100% accurate or correct. These are based on, you know, these are based on like opinions, right? What we feel, what I feel. You guys are to a certain entitled to have your opinions on what could be a nominee or what cannot be a nominee, and it's all up for debate, right? So this is like a friendly conversation on what we think, could happen in this year. So we will take a look at since we are in May, almost towards the end of May, almost in June. So we are pretty much at the midpoint of 2025. We're going to take a look at the past games which came out earlier this year and the games that will come out a little bit later this year. Kind of like talk a little bit about them and kind of like say what our gut feeling is. Right, we're not going to talk about every game. We're going to try to talk about the most notable games that came out in each month. And yeah, for reference, we have a list of past winners dating from 2020, from 2015. I don't think 2014 is included here. The one, the time when which one? What is it? Dragon Age one, right? So that was not included. Is not included in this graphic, but yeah. So all these winners, past winners, thoroughly deserved. There are 2 years, however, which I feel like had an asterisk, but then again, it's just my personal opinion. It can differ from me to you, from person to person. It is completely fine, right? I felt like 2016 or the Overwatch was a little bit of a right, because like we had the Doom reboot, which I felt like kind of like shook things up a bit. Yeah, I think reboots deserve. I think reboots deserve to be nominated in, but I feel like remakes should not be, right? Because I don't know. I feel a little bit like a little bit that between reboots and remakes, but it's fine. It's fine. And so the last one is 2024 Astrobot. I mean, you could make a case for like It Takes Two also was kind of like Astrobot, right? Because like the port gave us the nostalgia vibes, right? Because It Takes Two brought us back to the time when couch co-op was a thing, and Astrobot brought us back to a time when platforming was a thing, right? The good old age of platform games. And things like that. So but I would say just that in 2022 It Takes Two, like, it had a really good narrative and things like that. It was small, simple, and in my opinion, what I felt like is 2021 when It Takes Two won, truly deserving. But at the same time, like, 2021 was not like exactly, there wasn't exactly a strong set of nominations for the Game of the Year award, right? I think what do we have 2021? Was it Deathloop, Resident Evil Village, a Metroid game? I can't remember the remaining two or three, but it was like a very weak lineup for nominations for the Game of the Year award. But It Takes Two still deserved it, right? Because it kind of like took us back to this thing, and there was not anything else that truly deserved more than It Takes Two in that lineup. So yeah, so these are the past winners, and so yeah, let's take a look at the games that have come out so far this year and whether we feel like they need to be nominated in the Game of the Year award, or do they need to win the Game of the Year award, or maybe they can be used for any other award, right? So first up is early Feb, Monster Hunter Wilds. I'll be honest, I didn't play this game, but I have seen it. I've seen people play it, and Monster Hunter Wilds is amazing. It is a but what I feel like is, and from what a lot of people have said so far, is this is pretty much Monster Hunter Worlds 2, right? It is a sequel. It is a sequel anyway to Monster Hunter Worlds 2. Uh, but what I feel is it'll be a nominee. I would say it'll be a nominee, but I don't think it will win Game of the Year, right? Because well, let's just say that Game of the Year. Here's the thing, right? I cannot speak much, right? I would say it's a nominee, and then for those of you who have truly played the game, you guys can say if it's truly deserving a Game of the Year. Because I would say that I cannot say if it really deserves Game of the Year, because what I feel from what I've seen, people's reaction of playing the game and actually seeing gameplay footages and seeing pretty much walkthroughs of the entire game, playthroughs of the entire game, what I feel is like it's giving us the same experience we had in Monster Hunter Worlds, and that's it. And that's it. we get nothing new from it, which is fine, which is not which is which is not what we need all the time. We just need another good Monster Hunter World, right? That's a bit. They delivered, but is it the game of the year level delivery is the question, right? Did they give us a game of the year game? So what I feel is no, right? But they will, regardless, they'll still be nominated, right? They'll still be nominated. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, obviously, definite nominee, right? Could win Game of the Year, right? Could win Game of the Year. Now, there is another strong contender for this. I will get to that. I know what you guys are thinking. Some of you might be already saying, I might be crazy. There's already another game. Yes, we know. We'll get to that. But first of all, like, let me just Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I think KCD 1 came in 2018, and what I felt is in 2018 it was not heavily marketed, right? It wasn't like very well known. But Kingdom Come Deliverance gives us like, and it builds so much from Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, right? It gave us a much better experience compared to KCD 1. It gave us a much more bigger story, much more immersive gameplay, much more narrative, a lot more character development to Henry. There was a lot, right? It gave us a stellar performance, a stellar narrative, and I felt like a fitting ending, if it is going to be the ending, right, to Henry's story. So, yeah, I felt KCD 2 definitely should be a nominee for this year's Game of the Year. A lot of you can disagree with me. It is completely fine. It is fine. But, yeah, so far we have 2 nominees, Monster Hunter Wilds and KCD 2. But KCD 2 is definitely deserving. It didn't get anything. I think back then KCD 1 might have been a little bit too buggy, right? I think that's the reason why, like, maybe it went a little bit unnoticed and stuff like that. But I don't know. But yeah, KCD 2 is definitely deserving of it. They've done such, the dev team, Warhorse Studios, has done such a stellar job in delivering this game to us. And yeah, it needs to be, it could win. I'm not saying it will definitely win, but it could win, right? It could win, right? Moving on. Split Fiction from Hazelight Studios, from the makers of It Takes Two, who have already won Game of the Year in 2021. Now, Split Fiction gives us the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing as Monster Hunter. Oops. It's the exact same thing as Monster Hunter Wilds, right? So Monster Hunter Wilds gave us the basically Monster Hunter Worlds again, and that was it. Nothing new. Split Fiction does the exact same thing. It gives us the exact same couch co-op gameplay that we are looking for from It Takes Two, with a new story, obviously, 2 new characters. It turns up the ante a little bit because it is a little bit more fast-paced, action-oriented adventure. Like, it's a lot more platforming and stuff to do and jumping, and it's a lot more fast-paced, right? And it was more fun to play the compared to It Takes Two. It was a lot more fun to play because there was a lot to do. But the story was like, okay, because It Takes Two was a little bit more of a down to earth story, and you kind of like feel for the characters, you feel connected to the characters. And It Takes Two, well, it's a more of a fictional story, right? It's nothing embedded to realism. So it was like, yeah, awesome, right? Do you think they should be nominated? Well, if It Takes Two came out during the time when we had games like Elden Ring, maybe Breath of the Wild and stuff like that, I don't think It Takes Two can win. So because of that, this year we have much stronger nominations. So because of that, I do not think Split Fiction will be nominated. They could get an award for something else. I can't remember what other nominations are there. Best multiplayer game. Is it true? Can it fall as a multiplayer category? Co-op? I don't know, but they could win another award here and there. But yeah, definitely not Game of the Year material for this year because we have much stronger contenders. All right, moving on. Yeah, hell no. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I know a lot of you guys were waiting for this, and I agree. By far the so far, and we could say that it could, yeah, deserve to be nominated. 100% nominee, 100% nominee, and what I my gut feeling is 100% to win it all as well. This game came out of nowhere. The developer came out of nowhere, gave us one of the most best narrative experiences ever, with the best music ever I've ever heard. The music just ties this game up so amazingly. The artwork is amazing, the writing is amazing, the characters is amazing, the voice acting is amazing, the music is amazing, the gameplay is amazing. Everything is, and there's still, like, even after finishing the story or before even finishing, there's just so much to explore and do as well. There's just enough stuff to do around the game. It doesn't feel too long, it doesn't feel too cumbersome. It's just a perfect 10 out of 10 experience, just perfect. And given that this introduced us to a new lore, a new world, a new universe, right? Kind of like, when, I don't know, kind yeah, kind of like, Elden Ring, which introduced us to a whole new universe and things like that, and just blew us away, right? I think this is truly deserved, right? Like, these devs had no right coming in and dropping us such a banger, such a banger theme songs, right? Set of soundtracks. Truly deserved to win this year's Game of the Year, right? So we have so far three nominees: Monster Hunter Wilds, KCD2, Clair, Obscur, Expedition 33, and I feel like so far Expedition 33 is deserves to win it all. Moving on, Doom: The Dark Ages. I haven't played this so far. I've seen people play it. I've seen gameplay footages. I've followed through playthroughs of different people playing the game, and I enjoy the game as well. I enjoy seeing the game. I enjoy the music is not as good as Eternal. Right, the heavy metal music is there, but it's not as hype as the one we had in Eternal. It's just my personal opinion there, right? It's a good Doom experience, but it's not the Doom experience, right? It's not an elevated Doom experience. It's kind of like the same situation with Split Fiction and Monster Hunter Wilds. They gave us Doom, what it is, and that's it. Nothing different. You guys could say more if it gave us a whole new experience, but sure, the chainsaw shield, yes, all for it. A gun that shreds skulls and shoots out the shrapnels, yes, sure. But that's a cool factor, right? But I feel in that regard, Space Marine 2 was a little bit ahead of Doom, right? Is that true to say? I don't know, but I feel like Doom is not a strong content enough. Moving on, yet to come later this June, Death Stranding 2. Now, this is interesting. Death Stranding 2 could be a nominee because Sony always has a game. Always has. I can't remember if Sony has ever had two games as a nominee. Has it ever happened? Oh wait, it did happen, right? I think 2022 when it had Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West together. Yeah, okay. So Death Stranding 2 is, I feel, could be a nominee because so far they seem to have really good OST music, right? They did drop some banger tunes. The game is looking awesome. Gameplay looks awesome. But then again, I don't know. It might suffer from the exact same problem which Death Stranding suffered from, which is the game easy enough to follow, right? It's going to throw a multitude of lore at us, and we might just be overloaded at this point. And I don't know, Hideo Kojima, some of the themes he has, which is like the weirdest things he blends in, puts it together, and we love it. But I don't know, man. It'll be a nominee, just like Death Stranding 1. But if it wins, I know a lot of people will, because just how perfect Expedition 33 was. I don't think any other game can win this, right? Any other game can win this. I do have a possible, like, an asterisk of a game that could beat Expedition 33, but I'll get to that later. Uh, there could be a few, you know, we'll talk about it. Next is Wuchang Fallen Feathers, which is kind of like Black Myth Wukong ish type game, set to come out later in July, I think. It's also like a very Souls like game and stuff like that. Let me just confirm that properly. Yeah, so this is also like a Souls like story, blah blah blah. So there's not a whole lot that I can discuss on this game because it's yet to come out, and but the gameplay footage looks amazing so far. It has the proper Black Myth Wukong vibes, but it'll suffer from the exact same thing. It'll be like this Doom. It'll fall in the best action game category, action adventure game category, and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think they'll they'll be nominated or have anything to do with Game of the Year. Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater. This could be, if they ever have a best remake category. Yeah, this should ideally win it. But should it be in the Game of the Year? No, I don't think so. I know a lot of remakes have been in Game of the Year. If RE could make it, why not Metal Gear Solid Delta? I mean, yeah, let's be honest, right? Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid. Here's the thing, right? You usually have a total of 5 nominees, right? If Metal Gear Solid is going to creep in as a nominee, then Death Stranding is out. If Because I'll tell you why later, right? It's either this or Death Stranding. So Metal Gear Solid, for obvious reasons, is going to be an amazing game, right? We all love the original Metal Gear Solid series, like 1, 2, Snake Eater, and then the fourth one, Guns of the Patriots. All 4 games were amazing of the main series. Afterwards, it was fine, like the whole Big Boss sagas and everything. It's fine, but we always enjoyed the OG MGS series. Yeah, Delta is going to be an amazing game, no doubt, right? But Game of the Year, it's if Death Stranding is not going to be in it, then it'll be Metal Gear Solid Delta. But it's either this or Death Stranding. That's all I'm going to say, right? Moving on, I think August, Mafia: The Old Country. Yes. I think this has the potential to be the best Mafia game, but I don't think Mafia games have ever. The closest Mafia games ever had a game to giving us like a Game of the Year material was Mafia 2. I think that was the time when they nailed the Mafia game. So the Mafia Old Country, so far from the look of it, it seems like it has the ability to give us the potential of what it had, about what we of the experience we got in Mafia 2. But there's a question mark whether it can supersede that, right? It needs to give us a banging story with amazing voice acting and music and everything in order to beat the likes of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And I do not see any of these games beating Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I'll be honest. Moving on, Hell is Us. Hell is Us is a bit of a dark horse here, right? Published by Road Factor. Developed by Road Factor, published by Nacon. It's an interesting game. It's much like Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Like, it's one of those games that you see it and you feel like this can deliver something, right? Whereas Clair Obscur Expedition 33, where I got sold in a Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was when I saw the voice casting they hired for it. Now, Hell is Us does not have that, right? But it has some interesting lore to it, which I feel like is something that could show us some out of the world stuff, right? Will this be a strong Game of the Year contender? No, but this will be like a good. Maybe it might, depending on how it ends up being, it could be like best. It could win like an award here or there, maybe in the narrative sense or something like that, right? Because the overall setting of the game in this weird post-apocalyptic supernatural world, and where you use a bunch of melee weapons, right, to fight creatures and things like that. It looks interesting and very intriguing, but yeah, the game is yet to come out, so but we don't know, right? But game of the year, definitely no. Moving on, Borderlands 4. I think the only Borderlands to ever be a proper game of the year is Borderlands 2. Because Borderlands 1 introduced us to this amazing world, this amazing looter shooting type, crazy art style game. Borderlands 2 elevated that by giving us one of the best stories ever, because they had, I think, by far one of the best villains ever. Handsome Jack was by far the best villain. He freaking carried that. Handsome Jack, whoever that voice actor is, like, he carried that game. Literally, he was funny, sadistical, crazy, methodical, tyrannical. It was crazy. It was crazy. Borderlands so far hasn't been able to replicate ever since, like, and then with the pre-sequel, with Borderlands 3, they're giving us gameplay. Now Borderlands 4 is going to take place on a completely different planet and stuff. You saw the gameplay, everything, but it can give. So what Borderlands was always fun was playing with your friends, and Borderlands 4 will be that. You can play with your friends, have fun, have an amazing experience, go kill some psychos. But will it be that amazing game we had in Borderlands 2 with an amazing story and things like that? Not sure. I don't think we'll ever get a Borderlands 2 experience ever again. So because of that, Borderlands 4. No. Moving on, in October, Ghost of Yotei, probably nominee, and so that's why I said, so you usually get 5 nominees, right? So we said KCD2, Monster Hunter Wilds, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Death Stranding, or Metal Gear Solid Delta, and then the last one would be Ghost of Yotei. Definitely Ghost of Yotei. Ghost of Tsushima has proved that Sucker Punch can deliver, right? Ghost of Yotei will no doubt be an amazing game, but will it be enough? It has this Western Japanese vibe going on, right? We've seen it in the trailers, the music, and everything. It's going to show Assassin's Creed Shadows how it's going to be done, right? Now, a lot of people after 2024, after the way Astrobot won, and people say the Game Awards are rigged. Whatever, Sony has bought them out or whatever. I mean, like, I was surprised to see Astrobot winning as well, right? So because of that, like, Ghost of Yotei, if it wins, right, if it manages to give, like, it needs to really deliver, right? It needs to exceedingly deliver more than Tsushima, more than Clair Obscur Expedition 3, to the point where we will be talking about this game for ages in a manner like no other. Because else, if this somehow wins, people will just say, oh, it's just Sony again. It's just because it's a Sony game. After what happened in 2024 with Astrobot. So I feel like this is a deserving game, but I don't know. The thing is, like, that's the trick with sequels, right? The first game is always good. Sequels are really hard to follow. Very rare do you get games that follow up with a really good sequel, right? Like, I mean, you get rare scenarios, like rare cases, like KCD2 was one that really delivered on a really good sequel, right? KCD2 was one, then Borderlands 2 delivered on a really good sequel. So you do get games that can, right? But the occurrence, Wild Hunt, Witcher Wild Hunt, yeah, good sequels. So the occurrence of that happening is questionable. And I'm rooting for Ghost of Yotei to be a nominee, but It's just that Clair Expedition 33 just gave us so much, right? It just gave us so much that I really don't want it to lose at this point, right? We are all rooting for Clair Expedition 33. So, so yeah, and this will be, I think, the final most notable game to come out. Um, so yeah, my 5 nominees are going to be Monster Hunter Wilds, KCD 2, Clair Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, or Metal Gear Solid Delta, Ghost of Yotei, and with the winner obviously being Expedition 33. Look, this is heavily, like, based on a multitude of opinions and things like that. None of what I say is final. I just thought it would be really nice to open up a discussion, right? So you guys can just let me know in the comments below, like, what you guys think, right? Any other games which I may have missed, which is totally fine, right? I'm not perfect. No one is perfect. Uh, Now look, a lot of these games are like kind of like big notable games, right, which have been developed, right? I may have missed a lot of games like the Balatros, the Stray games, the Balatros, the Celeste games like those, which have come out and have gone unnoticed, right? So I may have missed games like that because I don't exactly focus on a lot of those 2D platformers, 2D games, and things like that. So I would have missed on games like that. So you guys can let me know, and yeah, you guys can, we can all agree to disagree and whatnot, right? But this is what I feel like, right? So my gut feeling is it's going to be KCD once again, KCD, Monster Hunter Wilds, KCD, Clair Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, or Metal Gear Solid Delta, Ghost of Yotei, and with Expedition 33 winning it all. So there you guys have it, my prediction for this year's Game of the Year, given how it's been so far and how it's come along. We'll make a video later towards the year, just before the Game Awards, just to show, like, were we right, were we wrong, when the nominations list can finally come out. It'll be fun to see, right? So yeah, there you guys have it. Those are my predictions so far for Game of the Year stuff. Given past records, winners, and all that stuff, like, as well. So yeah, do share thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next live stream video. Till next time, then, bye bye.